Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Hawkeye Audio Commentary Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Blakeman. Join with me as co-host, James Gore. What's going on, my bud?
Not much. Just ready to discuss.
And another co-host, we've got Tiffani Rozier. Did I say that correctly?
You did. Good job.
I'm so terrible with names. I'm awful. So
most people add more consonants, and I don't know why.
It looks so fancy, you know. If you were Brazilian, it'd be Rozier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Most people try to do French, and I'm like, don't do that.
And we've got another guest panelist with us, Jessica from last week. How we doing today?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us. All right. We're going to jump right into this. Last week, we talked a little bit about the episode as we went along. We kind of gave our opinions. And if everybody enjoys what they hear, go ahead and give us a like, share, subscribe on the Polaris Network YouTube channel. But first, let's recap. So we join our heroes as being captured by the tracksuit mafia. And then we get a little intro to Echo, a.k.a. Maya's backstory. What did everybody think about Echo's backstory? Kind of confirming some of the speculation ahead of the episode. In Maya being Echo, is that what everybody got out of it?
Thought it was pretty cute.
Kind of the, not necessarily opposite, but the tougher way of kind of growing up with adversity and training. Very similar to Kate's background, becoming really good at mixed martial arts and really good at everything she does because she's had some hardships in her life. She's overcoming her disability, I should say.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they've definitely given you cause to, you know, like with all good villains and like anti-heroes, they give you a good reason to empathize and connect, like to see yourself in them. So yeah, I think a lot of that, you know, creating some struggle physically and internally for her, even understanding her relationship with her father is kind of like, oh, I can empathize. Like, you know, he might have not been a perfect man in his chosen profession or vocation, but you know.
Great transition. We get to meet Maya's father, Echo's father, aka Crazy Horse, played by Zahn McLarnon, another Colorado-born actor. Great part for him. You've seen him in other things like Westworld or what was the other show he was in? Longmire, where he was the sheriff in Wyoming. Great part for him.
Yeah.
Wonderful relationship between the two.
Yeah. I really wanted a bit more villain energy from her. Like, sure. I think I empathize a little too much with her. I mean, I don't necessarily need like Cruella de Vil levels, but I needed something that made me, I need to feel less connected. Like I need some part of it for me to not understand why they do what they do. Like some of the psychology I don't want to understand, because that for me is part of makes up a good villain. Like you get it, but you really don't get, like, why are you so mad? What's going on? And and a lot of her backstory, you understand all of it. You understand exactly why she is who she is. And I don't know I haven't quite decided if that serves her yet.
Definitely. Finding out that her dad may be on the bad guy side, being part of the tracksuit mafia, but still being a loving father. And who's uncle? Uncle's going to pick you up from karate class, you know, and then you see the big hand pinch the cheek. Does that serve anybody? Does that confirm we've got Kingpin coming?
I don't know, but it sounded like it.
Sounds like Vincent D'Onofrio. I hope those leaks are true, but like not that true. I hope it's a little bit more awesome if he does come in, not, you know, necessarily spoiled by a leak, but, you know, would be cool to see Kingpin in this.
Oh, yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I hope so. Well, would her upbringing be comparable to Kate's upbringing? Her relationship with her father being cut short, overcoming adversaries, becoming the greatest archer, becoming the greatest martial artist. Is there comparables there?
Kate definitely had a lot more money.
Sure.
Yeah.
maybe easier for her to train as hard. Maybe
a lot more access.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we're setting up for Echo. Maybe show her struggle. Maybe a fight between the two. Who wins in that fight?
Yeah.
I mean, you need to, I guess you do need to find some parallels watching the two of them in order for their rivalry to make sense. Otherwise, it'd be like, they should be good friends.
Right?
Really? Like, they're like two peas in a pod.
Yeah. In any other circumstance, they would be homies. I don't
Like,
just,
girl,
okay.
let's go sparring.
Right.
That's great.
I think that's the other reason why I wanted a bit more villain energy from Echo, is because it's like I don't get menacing just yet. Like her you could tell like her whole existence is about avenging her father, which I don't know if you as a human being would ever feel like if vigilante justice was something we could all participate in. I think some people, could be justifiably part of that. Her being one of them, like, oh, my father was murdered. Forget the circumstances that led up to it, but my father was murdered. And so it's like her trying to right the wrongs of the world makes sense. And so that's why I'm looking for some kind of senseless, I need some motivation that I can't understand and get behind in order for me to like root for her as a villain.
Absolutely.
Completely understand that, because I was like, okay, so we're getting an origin story of homegirl, like, okay.
Right, like,
it was
like
cute, though.
it was really cute. You were like, okay, well, all right, because most, like, I'm used to villains who either want to dominate or take over the world, who want more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime, like, and while their origin stories might tell you why that's their motivation, you still kind of go, that's a bit far-fetched and a little over the top, and I just haven't gotten that from her yet.
Sure.
Yeah, everything seems justified.
Yeah,
so far.
Like, I'll be going after these fools too.
Yeah, like, let's go. Where you at?
Yeah. So that's kind of another great transition. Clint and Kate make their escape from the tracksuit mafia. We get a little showdown between Echo and Kate, a little mixed martial arts action, and then Clint goes to town with his specialty. Our first glimpse of Hawkeye's bow skills during the season. What everybody think about that escape?
Yeah, he's an Avenger for a reason. I don't know what tracksuit thought they was gonna do to him.
Yeah. And it's not like they painted tracksuit as like the brightest group of people in the world.
Right.
So.
By the way, did anybody else notice that the big tracksuit mafia guy, the main one that wears the black tracksuit, he played Shrek in Shrek the Musical?
Really? I did not know that.
Nobody knew.
I did not watch Shrek the Musical, so I cannot say.
Wonderful piece of theater.
I didn't even know there was a musical. So
yes,
it's great.
Yes.
It's great. But
it's
hard for me to see him as an intimidating Russian figure.
If all it's true.
Shrek. So mostly I'm seeing the tracksuit mafia being a humorous adversary. I think it's meant to be funny.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting comic relief from them.
Which was great because the chase scene that ensued made the episode, I feel. What a great piece of action.
Yeah.
Coming out with the Easter egg. In the comic book, they take the Dodge Challenger and they proceed to destroy it as they get away. But what did everybody else think of them jumping in the Cadillac and making their great escape?
Like we were discussing formula before we jumped on here. Sure. I feel like that's definitely part of the Marvel formula, is to give us these really great, huge action sequences that make you wonder about the like how a city repairs itself after a situation like that. Like, whose insurance is covering my car getting flipped over? But I think like that definitely is consistent with Marvel in general. Like, even if you don't get anything else from them, you're going to get some really beautiful like camera work. You're going to get some really great cinematography there, and everyone's going to show up and do their jobs in that way. So I feel like it's definitely consistent, and I wasn't disappointed with it at all.
Cinematically amazing. I agree 100%. We get to see the trick arrows being used.
Mm-hmm.
Some of
One girl up for the win.
some of the funnest pieces of Hawkeye's superpower, to say, is just his arrows, and some of them were pretty funny. Kate Haley Steinfeld coming in with her comedic timing. She's not just a dramatic actress. She's not just an action star. She's got comedic chops too. I think she's the action, the comedy in that scene was just the bee's knees. Yeah, what a great way for a couple of archers to escape.
Yeah. And you're getting that kind of the buddy film vibe from them in that. So I always appreciate.
So you and I were discussing formula at the beginning of this. Is this a buddy cop movie? Is this a buddy cop show?
I'm definitely getting those vibes. I'm getting kind of a
So at the beginning, I thought of it as more of a detective show, more of a crime procedural. But now I'm getting Lethal Weapon vibes. I'm getting.
I was just about to say Lethal Weapon. I'm definitely getting Lethal Weapon vibes. You got the rookie and the veteran, and the veteran's just trying to like get on with his life and not have all this extra. So yeah, and it's like, can you calm down? It really was like watching Hawkeye just go. I'm trying to exit this life. I'm trying to retire and escape, and of course, getting pulled back in because I don't think he's just seeing her character as someone who is trying to do or be anything. I think he sees that character as one of his own kids, like because of her age. And Absolutely. what would you do if your own kid was kind of trying to follow in your footsteps? Because I think he's worked hard to make sure his kids don't. And so at this point, you have this young woman who's 22, who's like, yeah, I want to be just like you. And he's like, but why? Like, because I think living with all the pain he's lived with, he's like, why would you want to have my life?
Sure. Wow. That's almost perfectly to a T. Perfect transition to my next bit that I had wrote down. In the fight, Clint gets his hearing aid.
His hearing aid. Yeah.
Now he's got to rely on Kate to translate for an actual conversation with his kids. Yeah. Maybe he needs her help as much as she needs his help. Maybe she does realize. Maybe he realizes that it's more than just retired to rookie, or maybe she's worth more trouble than he lets on. Did everybody else get that vibe?
Yeah, I really enjoyed all of the scenes with the disconnect from being able to hear and talking. I just love how they shot that. And it was kind of a theme of the whole episode, because, we come in with Homegirl's origin story and, it's really all about her and how she can't communicate with people effectively. Wanting to go to that deaf school and her father not being able to afford it and all of that. And then here we have Hawkeye going through the struggles that he's having to go through because he loses his hearing aid. And now he's having to depend on someone that he doesn't necessarily want to depend on. But now he finds himself really having to depend on this person. And she comes through for him.
Yeah. Yeah. It builds up a tremendous amount of empathy because like when Echo first realizes that he is hearing impaired, there you can see this kind of flash in her face, which I think the actress who's playing Echo did brilliantly. Like you could see her move out of her current moment back into her childhood and go, oh my God, I know the experience he's having. So she almost kind of reneges on what she's probably about to do. Yeah. And you see her questioning herself internally, like, should I pursue this? Because I know what it's like to be here. And like, and then of course the translator comes out, which I thought, oh my God, okay, y'all are really riding hard for like this particular physical challenge that people have. Like I have a cousin who is completely hearing impaired and has been deaf since she was 2 years old. And so like trying to understand what that experience is like in the world to not be able to hear anything. Yeah. And then they are trying to offer that experience to people through this show. Like I find like a lot of the choices they made at this point are really kind of interesting and aspirational.
I cheated. I use subtitles. I don't know if that's just because I'm hard of hearing, but I had to use the subtitles because I was like, what are they saying? Oh, it's muted. I had no idea. I had to restart the episode and turn my subtitles on.
That was on purpose. Yeah.
Intentional.
That was on purpose, guys.
When
but like to try to bring people into that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what proof of that? So
you're like, it worked. It obviously worked because you turned on the subtitles.
Got me good.
But like, I find it ambitious of Marvel to try to bring this kind of, to bring up this type of conversation within the context or framework of an action series. You know what I mean? Like no one really pursues these particular types of conversations this way. And so I find it's ambitious, and I think it works because people who might not normally ever consider what life is like for someone who has hearing challenges, and always considers it to be a liability or a limitation, they're actually watching people proceed in life.
How cool to get that lesson from a superhero show.
Exactly.
You never would have thought about getting that lesson, but how great. I agree with you. Why not do those lessons? Why not put that in the show? Give people a little taste of how it is.
Exactly. Like if you try it doesn't work, then fine, at least you tried it. That's me. I'm just like, if you tried it and it's like, oh, that fell flat, or maybe that's not the best place to put something like this. And then of course, kids who are going to grow up with hearing impairments will watch the series and go, oh, I have opportunities and I have an ability to do something that other people can't do. Like I love like what her father said to her about being uniquely her, and like him explaining why he, her going to the deaf school might not have been to her advantage. Like that was, I think, was a really great conversation between the two of them.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Well, does that kind of translate into the cost of hero talk that Hawkeyes have at the diner? Haley coming in with the costume ideas and branding and stuff, but what is the true cost of being a hero? Do you have to be the villain? Do you have to be the person that's unseen, the spy, or do you have to be the flashy hero? Who's correct in this situation?
I think that this episode was so great because there were so many little things that you could relate back to what happened in the episode already. So even them having that conversation at the diner, just the pain of him having to, talk to not even be able really to talk to his son, but use Kate as a way to communicate, and him trying to still commit to coming back for Christmas, and Christmas is in a couple of days, and he knows in his heart of hearts that he's probably not going to be able to go back, but he really, really wants to be with his kids, so it's just, that, and that's a price that he's having to pay being a superhero, is missing out on these moments with his family. And it's something he's been doing for so long.
Right. Because he's like essentially was like that only Avenger who really had a life outside of being an Avenger. And it's like, as much as the rest of them wanted to, they kept choosing this over that. And like Hawkeye kind of came in already with this family. And so, for him to kind of watch his story unfold and go, how do you protect the world when your family is your world? Like, what does that look like? And then, of course, getting Kate to like, downshift on this kind of romanticized idea of what he was, because I think that's what he was trying to do, is burst that bubble for her. Like, this is not a romantic thing. This is a real life thing where people lose things and they lose shit on account of their choices. And while you might be a hero to some, you're going to be a villain to other people. Ergo, you're going to make enemies, and you're going to put yourself in very precarious situations where you might not go home to your family, and that's always a possibility. And so to kind of get her out of that space of like being a hero, because when she saw him for the first time, it was a bit romanticized. Oh, here's this person who's saving us from this attack, and so she always had him built up this way. And so now she's, to get her out of that and go, no, this is real life happening every single day. And because even when she saw her father or what's the name's father, killed by this sword in front of her, like her processing the fact that someone was like murdered in front of her or killed in front of her, still, I don't think she even sat with that in a realistic way. It was still romanticized for her. He's a bad guy, of course he should die. And so she kind of left it there. It wasn't he's a human being that was murdered by another human being. And so I think, well,
I mean, this What a deep message you've got to cram in 43 minutes.
It's funny because it's like you get the opportunity to like help people. Like, I think that's the beauty of fiction, is that you get an opportunity to talk about things that people don't normally talk about when it's nonfiction, but you can create a world where people can have these kind of conversations.
Totally.
And it's like, being a hero to some and being an enemy to others or a villain to others is like always going to be the case for Hawkeye.
Wow. So this gonna kind of bring an end to our episode for Kate and Clint. They end up deciding that they need to go check out Jack, her soon-to-be father-in-law. Or wait, be
stepfather. Yeah.
He got real villain energy.
Yeah,
he got some real villain energy.
He does.
So they break into the apartment. They're snooping around. They're using the software. We get a little bit of a cliffhanger where Clint is held up by the Ronin sword.
His own sword.
Look at that.
What a way to end an episode.
That's great. I'm really curious about Kate's mom. I have I get a little villain energy from her too.
Yeah.
Is
like
she
who
the real villain?
That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
Because she got a security company that can spy on everybody's everything. Why you need that? What you doing, girl?
And why are y'all connecting up? Like, what are y'all trying to hide? Like, both of y'all, like,
yeah.
The swordsman is more of a puppet than a mastermind.
And he thought he could outsmart people. I think that's his problem. Is like, again, true villain style. You think you're smarter than everybody else.
Interesting. So in the comic book, the swordsman and Hawkeye are actually friends at a couple of times. I mean, they fight each other, but anti-hero, hero, anti-villain, villain. They've had that relationship back and forth. So I wonder if the show will maybe make it so swordsman ends up being good near the end.
Right. Well, I mean, especially if Kate's mom is the villain.
Sure.
That makes sense to. Cause man, see, I got my eye on that Kate character.
Yeah, because she acts very like aloof, like I'm like I don't trust it.
I don't trust it. And she acts like everything is just like she writes things off like nothing is happening around her all the time, and it's like she's doing that on purpose.
She's hiding something.
She's hiding something. Like her husband's dead. Now this other man's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you. I don't believe anything she got going on right now. I just don't. I'm just like, I'm eye on her because I don't trust it.
Tell you the truth, I saw that first episode with subtitles as well. She was definitely threatening that guy that ended up getting killed later.
See what I'm saying? Like, she got some real villain shit happening right there because she is not showing her cards yet, and they're letting that one simmer for a while.
I like it. I hate to say it because anymore you tell people you like these Marvel shows, you are, you're that yuppie guy. Oh, you just like Marvel shows. Or you tell somebody you hate it. Oh, you're just a hater. I'm enjoying the show.
I'm enjoying the show. Can I watch a program without all of the judgment? Thank you.
Yeah, and we only got 3 more episodes left, so you got to really enjoy it. Like,
exactly.
Really
I'm like, okay, because I was like, I might go back and watch the first 2 again, see if I missed anything.
There you go.
But I just, like I said, I find like Kate's mom's character is real sus, and so I'm intrigued to see what she got going on.
We had kind of touched on that in either the first episode or the second episode. We were kind of like, we don't know about the Jack dude, and we don't know about her, and like as it's progressed and we come to episode 3, I definitely don't trust her.
I don't trust her at all. She dips out real early. She's never, it's just she got too many things that are suspicious about everything that surrounds her. And that's the one thing about villains is like everything around them can look like it's popping off, and then they're just kind of like, what? I don't know what's going on. And that's because you're back here pulling the levers. So of course it doesn't look like you know what's happening. I'm not messing with that lady. She sees, and again, you have a security company that can literally look into anybody's life.
Yep.
Why do you have that much access and nobody's questioning you about it?
All signs point to villain to me.
See what I'm saying? I smell villains. I smell villain.
It's strong.
She put Hawkeye's information in there. She's got Clint's information in there now. Can the villain track Hawkeye now?
See, this is all I'm saying. And it's like she's using her daughter, and her daughter doesn't realize it yet.
Ooh.
See,
all right. Well, how about any more hot takes to end this episode on this wonderful podcast episode? James, any insights, any predictions that you want to throw at us right now?
Not yet.
Still marinating. Still thinking on this.
What does it all mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Anybody else? We got any hot takes? Any final thoughts? No.
I'm just ready. I'm just ready for episode 4.
I'm ready.
Like,
I'm
ready to go.
I'm waiting for Kate to really get to that point where she, again, like, she's not wearing the rose-colored glasses, because I feel like she's going to become a really different character after that. Yeah. I don't know who she's going to have to lose or what she's going to have to see in order for her to go, there's nothing romantic about this life, and still choose it anyway. So I'm waiting for her crisis moment in order to see who she becomes after that.
Interesting. I like it. All righty, folks. Well, that's been another episode of the Hawkeye audio commentary. This show offers comprehensive coverage of Marvel Studios limited series Hawkeye, only on the Polaris Network. We do a week-by-week breakdown, simultaneously exploring every corner of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in great detail, built for those MCU fans who fell in love with it at Iron Man, or maybe just starting with Hawkeye. So give us a like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to share us on your social media, tag us, let us know you listen, let us know you're a fan. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, everybody, as a host and a guest today. Thanks for joining me here in the studio. We'll catch everybody next week.